Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. No. How hideous would I become if I looked as old as Master? Ming-Shirin shuddered at the thought of this. He stopped cultivating and emerged from the tall blades of grass. He surveyed his surroundings. He had been cultivating here over the years. His master had said the bluewood heart technique was most suited to him. However, he had to rely on his own effort to learn about the bluewood heart technique. Finding this place was a product of his luck. He had discovered long ago that his rate of improvement when he cultivated in the forest when he cultivated elsewhere. His fellow disciples only knew that his cultivation method had the best effect if he were in the forest. However, they were unaware that he yielded the best result when he cultivated in the forest as well. He had also cultivated the ground escape technique here. If he tunneled underground, he would be completely safe, after all. He mulled over his thoughts as he stroked his chin and muttered to himself, 1,200 years. How did Master overcome that? After a moment, his eyes widened as he exclaimed, does Master have many Chiyao's hearts? He paced around before he came to a halt. He continued muttering to himself, why didn't I think about this before? Master is too intelligent. He won't do anything that he has no confidence in. I should cultivate harder so I can reach my peak state in the shortest time possible. Cultivation in itself was going against the will of the heavens. Even at the peak, cultivators had to choose the best time to achieve a breakthrough. With this thought in mind, he returned to the center of the cluster of weeds. He flipped his palms up as his primal chi surged. More weed grew around him, and they grew taller as well. They were now almost the same height as him. Fur walls made of grass were formed around him. Ming-Shirin sat with his legs crossed and eyes closed and he regulated his breathing. At this moment, vitality surged from him. However, the primal chi inside the forest was quickly gathered by him before it was absorbed by his Dantian sea of chi. Several days passed in just a blink of an eye. In the Evil Sky Pavilion's eastern pavilion. In the morning. Zhou had fully replenished his extraordinary power, and he had stabilized his 9-leaf cultivation base as well. Remaining life, 218,980 days. A question appeared in Zhou's mind. I wonder if there's a 10-leaf stage after the 9-leaf stage. Is there another great limit to be overcome between the 9-leaf stage and the 10-leaf stage? The human cultivators in Great Yen had been stuck at the 8-leaf stage for many years now. They were very familiar with the cultivation process under the 8-leaf stage. However, everything about the 9-leaf stage and above was unknown. Zhou was like the lighthouse, lighting up everyone's path while he progressed in the dark. In the end, he decided there was no point dwelling on this matter. He would obtain his answer by slowly raising his cultivation base. He could purchase the 1,000 realms whirling with 500,000 merit points. This seemed to hint that he could enter a new realm. Merit points, 23,640. His current points were too far from 500,000 merit points. After thinking about it for a moment, Zhou bought another deadly strike card. 15,000 merit points were deducted from him. Up until now, he had 2 deadly strike cards. Before he made his way to the Red Lotus domain, he had to make as many preparations as he could. The deadly strike card was one of his trump cards. He had to have them ready. Since he was only left with 5,000 merit points after his latest purchase, he could no longer buy any other item card for now. Master, Zhou Tianyuan requests an audience. Si Wuya's voice rang from the other side of the door. Zhou was slightly curious. Zhou Tianyuan's attention should all be focused on Zhu Honggong. Why did Zhou Tianyuan come? What's the matter? He has checked the ancient Saint Cult's warehouse and discovered one thing. He personally brought it here so you can have a look at it. Zhou emerged from his room and walked out of the eastern pavilion. He looked at Si Wuya and said in a slightly puzzled tone, your cultivation base has improved a lot. Si Wuya replied, I daren't slack off under your supervision, Master. I've been diligently cultivating every day. When will you reach the 8-leaf stage? Si Wuya shook his head. He had no idea as well. Nobody could be sure about cultivation, after all. Zhou no longer pressed Wuya for an answer. With his hands on his back, he walked to the southern pavilion. Wuya followed closely behind him. Shortly after, the two of them arrived at the southern pavilion. There were many gathered on the plaza before the southern pavilion. The evil sky pavilion's 4 elders and many female disciples were gathered around some black object as they studied it curiously. Meanwhile, Zhu Tianyuan and Zhu Honggong stood at the side. "Greetings, master." The others turned around and bowed. "Rise." Zhou arrived before the others with hands on his back. He looked at the object at the center of the plaza and asked in confusion, "Zhu Tianyuan, what's this?" It looked like a small battered boat. It was black and covered in a thick layer of grime. Zhu Tianyuan said, "You might not know this, Brother Ji. Do you remember the blueprints on Zhenghai's body?" Zhou had seen the blueprints on Zhenghai before. However, the sky shuttle, the water shuttle, and the sky chariot did not resemble this thing. His voice deepened as he said, "What does it have to do with this thing? Don't beat around the bush." Zhu Tianyuan's expression turned solemn. He bowed and uttered a statement that shocked everyone, "This is left behind by that Lua woman." Zhou was shocked. Wuya was the first one to rush forward. He hastily wiped the grime off the object with his sleeve. After wiping it a few times, formation veins could be seen on it. It was not strange if the others did not recognize these, but he would not miss these. He had been studying the sky shuttle, the blueprints, and Luo Shirin's notes for a long time, so he instantly recognized the formation veins. He exclaimed, "It's the formation veins on the sky shuttle." The sky shuttle. The others were shocked. Wuya immediately ordered, "Clean this." Understood. Several female disciples fetched buckets of water over to clean the object. They did not dally now that they realized the importance of this object. In time, as they cleaned, the object that resembled a small boat was slowly restored to its original appearance. The veins on its body could clearly be seen as well. Wuya, who had been studying it all this time, sighed and stroked it. A hint of admiration could be seen in his eyes. "Master, the formation veins on this thing are slightly weaker than the sky shuttle. Moreover, its shape is clearly different from the sky shuttle as well. The sky shuttle has strong defenses and is quick, but its altitude is limited. This must be a mini sky chariot." Zhu Tianyuan laughed. "Ha! I knew this wasn't an ordinary object. You should be proud of your father for having such a good memory." He patted Zhu Honggong's shoulder heavily after he finished speaking. Zhou said, "A mini sky chariot. If this can't even compare to the sky shuttle, how could it cross the ocean?" Wuya said, "Great Yin cultivators have countless experiences exploring the endless ocean. The beasts in the ocean are exceptionally strong. However, they won't simply leave the ocean and won't leap too high up. Hence, by flying higher, we can avoid the beasts. The formation veins on the surface are used to resist high-altitude flight. The disadvantage is that primal chi will suddenly drop at a certain height. It might even vanish. It's difficult for cultivators to control." Zhu Tianyuan asked in confusion, "So, it's useless?" "Not entirely. Although it's not as good compared to the sky shuttle, in the sense that it's slow and has weak defenses, it has a higher capacity compared to the sky shuttle. With this size, it can carry 3 to 5 passengers," Wuya said. At this moment, he pushed the little boat. "Whiz!" Wuya exclaimed in shock, it had been used. Zhou looked at Zhu Tianyuan and said, "Luo Shirin has been to the ancient saint cult before. Do you know where she is now?" Luo Shirin might still be alive. It was also possible that she rode this mini sky chariot as she traveled back and forth between the Red Lotus domain and the Golden Lotus domain. This discovery was indeed surprising. Zhu Tianyuan shook his head and said with a sigh, "I don't know about that. The former cult master knew her. She vanished at some point. After inheriting the position of cult master, I inherited the notes and this broken boat." The others seemed disappointed to hear this. Wuya finished inspecting it and said, "Master, this mini sky chariot can be used, but its defenses are weak." Lu Zhou nodded and said, call old fourth over. Tell him to wait at the eastern pavilion. I have a task for him. Yes, master. Si Wuya turned around and left. After that, Lu Zhou said, protect the sky chariot. Nobody is to get close to it. Anyone who disobeys this order will be exiled from the evil sky pavilion. Lu Zhou studied the sky chariot for some time. The formation veins inscribed on it were indeed exquisite formations used to control flight. After confirming that there were no mistakes, he left the southern pavilion. Zhu Honggong nudged Zhu Tianyuan with his elbow and said, I thought you couldn't bear to part with me. I see now that you're only here to send a package. It's true foolishness to meet your master empty-handed, Zhu Tianyuan said. Zhu Honggong scratched his head as he said, you have a point. Son, how's your cultivation progressing recently? Everyone under the heavens is competing to become a 9-leaf cultivator now. Your old man is a coward who loves his life too much. I'm not brave enough to sever my lotus. I'm proud that you're so courageous. When you're attempting the 9-leaf stage, I'll personally keep watch for you, Zhu Tianyuan said. Zhu Honggong cleared his throat before he solemnly said, that's. Well, severing the lotus is just a trivial matter. It's not worth mentioning at all. At this moment, Duanmu Sheng hoisted his overlord's spear over his shoulder and stepped forward. He said, 8th junior brother, who's planning to sever their lotus? No. No one's severing their lotus. Zhu Honggong shuddered as he quickly waved his hand. At the same time, he moved to stand behind his father. Duanmu Sheng looked at the father and son in confusion before he finally said, in that case, come and train with me. I've made some improvements in my spear techniques recently. A bitter expression appeared on Zhu Honggong's face as he instinctively took a step back. Zhu Tianyuan asked in confusion, practicing with the spear is a good thing, right? Son, you don't look so good. Forget it, I'll spar with your senior brother. Let's go. Since he was in the evil sky pavilion, he had nothing to do anyway. All right. Thank you, uncle. Duanmu Sheng cupped his fists together. Don't mention it. Zhu Tianyuan was an 8-leaf elite. If he could not even suppress an evil sky pavilion disciple who had barely recultivated to the 5-leaf stage, he would be better off resigning from his position as the ancient cult master and go into farming. Father, you mustn't go. I don't mind. Your father isn't kicking the bucket just yet. Zhu Tianyuan stepped forward and grabbed Duanmu Sheng's wrist. Let's go. I'll train with you. Even if it's for the entire day, I won't mind. Zhu Honggong. Duanmu Sheng was greatly moved. He said, in that case, I'll have to thicken my face and accept your kind offer, uncle. It'd be best if I could train in this manner every day. After he finished speaking, he pulled Zhu Tianyuan along with him as he walked away. An ominous feeling rose in Zhu Tianyuan's heart immediately. He stammered, every day. Duanmu Sheng nodded and said, Elder Hua was my training partner before this. When we first started, it was once every 3 days. However, he began avoiding me after that. Perhaps, I'd made a mistake and unknowingly irritated Elder Hua. Uncle. Uncle? You don't look so good. Are you all right? I'm fine. That's great. Time waits for no man. Let's go. He continued pulling Zhu Tianyuan to his training spot halfway up the mountain. He was worried this high-level training partner would escape. Oh, no. I think I've fallen into a trap. When Lu Zhou returned to the Eastern Pavilion, Ming Shirin was waiting respectfully inside the Eastern Pavilion. When he saw his master had returned, he followed his master into the hall after he greeted his master. After they entered the room, Ming Shirin bowed and immediately said, Master, I'm ready. Lu Zhou nodded, pleased. He said, good. Master, do we really need 1,200 years of life to reach the 9-leaf stage? Ming Shirin asked. Lu Zhou answered, yes, you'll need 1,200 years of life. In that case. Please give me Qi Yao's heart, Master. I can't wait. Ming Shirin said with a smile. Lu Zhou's pitch rose at the end, making him sound stern and imposing. An uneasy feeling rose in Mingshi Yin's heart. He quickly lowered his head and said, "I'm just kidding. Don't joke about this matter. You should treat this important matter seriously," Lu Zhou said. "I understand. Since you're ready, let's try it tomorrow," Lu Zhou said. "Huh? Are we in a rush?" It was completely out of Mingshi Yin's expectations that his master would ask him to attempt the 9-leaf stage so quickly. He was slightly shocked. Lu Zhou replied, "Your eldest and second senior brothers are in trouble in the Red Lotus domain where dangers abound. We can't put this off any longer. Master. Who's going to look after things in Great Yen when you leave? After all, until now, there was only one 9-leaf cultivator in Great Yen. I'll deal with everything here before leaving for the Red Lotus domain. Moreover, I'll only be gone for a short while," Lu Zhou said. "I understand." At this moment, Lu Zhou extended his hand and said, "Separation hook." Mingshi Yin flinched instinctively. He seemed reluctant. However, when he saw his master's stern expression, he had no choice but to bring his weapon out before respectfully placing it in his master's hand. "That will be all." "Understood." After Mingshi Yin left, Lu Zhou returned to the rush cushion and sat down. He took out the shining stone and tossed it out to refine the separation hook. After the shining stone's flames and the separation hook merged, Lu Zhou no longer bothered with it. It would succeed overnight. Then, Lu Zhou looked at his merit points. Merit points, 8,640 merit points. It was not too practical to purchase item cards now. Instead, he decided to try and obtain them through lucky draws. Lucky draw. Ding. Spent 50 merit points and 18 luck points. Obtained, reversal card x10. Lucky draw. Ding. Spent 50 merit points. Thank you for your participation. Early the next morning, Lu Zhou opened his eyes, emerging from his meditative state. When he heard the separation hook fell on the floor, he turned to look. The upgrading of the weapon had been completed. He raised his hand and brought the separation hook into his hand. He circulated his primal chi slightly. There was vaguely visible light gleaming off the hook's blade. Indeed, it was now a desolate grade weapon. At this moment, Wuya's voice rang from the other side of the door. "Master, everything's ready. Fourth senior brother is already waiting in the southern pavilion." "I see." Lu Zhou put the separation hook away and left the eastern pavilion. When Lu Zhou arrived at the southern pavilion, he saw a tall square platform had been built outside the southern pavilion. At this moment, Mingshi Yin was sitting on the platform. His spirits were calm, and he seemed composed. When the others saw Lu Zhou, they bowed. "Pavilion Master." "Master." His disciples bowed. Lu Zhou looked up at Mingshi Yin. "What a mess. What kind of a joke is this? Get down." Flashy but without substance. He's spending too much time on useless matters. Mingshi Yin shuddered and leaped off the high platform immediately. He sighed inwardly. "I can't even act cool like master." Lu Zhou pointed at a spot in a corner of the southern pavilion. Mingshi Yin bowed and said, "Understood." Then, he walked over obediently. The female disciples covered their mouths and stifled their giggles. Little Yuan waved her hands and said, "Go for it, fourth senior brother. Go for it, fourth senior brother." Duanmu Shang sighed. He did not expect his fourth junior brother, who had always been weaker than him, was about to attempt the 9-leaf stage. He could only blame himself for not working hard enough. Then, he turned to look at Zhu Tianyun with determination flashing in his eyes as he said, "I'll have to trouble you to train with me again next time." Zhu Tianyuan's fingers trembled slightly. With a slightly unnatural expression, he said, "Sure, sure." Meanwhile, the 4 Evil Sky Pavilion elders were feeling emotional as well. Although they knew Mingshi Yin's cultivation base was profound and he liked concealing his strength, they did not expect Mingshi Yin to be the first to reach the 9-leaf stage. They planned to observe the leaf sprouting process to gain some experience. There was no harm for them to observe him. Zhou stroked his beard and said, "Begin." Understood. Mingxirin stepped into the center of the spot under the watchful eyes of the Evil Sky Pavilion's members. He sat down with his legs crossed. "I feel slightly embarrassed with so many people watching me. Should we do this in the room?" Mingxirin had always cultivated in secret. This was his first time having so many people look at him. He felt awkward as though someone was peeping at him while he was showering. Zhou frowned slightly. He said in a low voice, "If you're not going to do this, I'll give this chance to another person. You're not the only one who wants to reach the 9-leaf stage." "Don't." "Master, I'll do it right away." Mingxirin flipped his palm up. A miniature 8-leaf golden lotus avatar appeared above his palm immediately. Zhou said, "Focus. Elders, guard the 4 directions." The 4 elders bowed in unison. Understood. They flew up and landed on top of the southern pavilion's great hall. Hua Yueshing. Here. Guard the highest point. Understood. Hua Yueshing wielded the falling moon bow and flew to the top of the Evil Sky Pavilion. "Everyone else, stand back." The others bowed and retreated. Mingxirin focused his mind. Golden radiant energy rings slid down from his avatar's waist. Zhou stroked his beard and nodded, watching Mingxirin. He was the only one standing in front of Mingxirin at this moment. Meanwhile, in the Red Lotus domain. In a dense forest in a valley several miles away from the Thousand Willow Monastery. Yu Shangrong was sitting next to a huge tree. His 8-leaf avatar hovered above his palm while his other held the longevity sword. His expression was calm as usual. Without any hesitation, he raised his left hand slightly. The longevity sword buzzed before it flew out of its scabbard. It pierced through the heart of a flying beast above the forest. Bam! The flying beast was pinned to the tree. Meanwhile, radiant energy rings were sliding down from the avatar's waist.